Hi, it's Donna from Little Red Hen Fabrics on Etsy, and I wanted to share a quick pattern. It's to make this little coaster, and you can see it's a little 4-patch, and it has a cute little backing. These are super quick, and these are just, you stack them, and you sew them, and you flip them, and you're done. So I think you're gonna love it. So these are made with 5-inch squares, and you will need 5-inch squares. So I've already got those ready. I've got my little backing piece and then 2 each of the front pieces for the 4 patches. And so what you do with those is you just take them to the ironing board and you do a quick press. There's the 5-inch square, you fold it in half and just press it. Okay, so then I'm going to show you how to stack. So it's real quick. You have to remember this part though. So you put the backing down first, it's going to wind up in the middle, and then you put, the batting first, then the backing, and you put that pretty side up, and now we're going to weave in our 4-patch. So the only rule here is to put the fold toward the middle. So we're going to do that. We're going to put, real quick, I'm going to show you how to do this. You just take these and you put the fold toward the middle, and then we're going to line up the outside with the backing fabric. Okay, so when you put the last piece in, it does do a you have to raise this piece to set it in and then put it down. So see there, you just had to lift this over, put your piece in, and then lay it down. Okay, so now this fabric is directional, and so I did kind of pay attention to how I put them down, but you could do whatever you want. So like, as you can see, I've got little mushrooms, and I put the tops going out. And then the little bears, can you see those? I put their chins going in and their top of their head going out. So, okay, so let's go ahead and line these up. So now you have to line the corners up with the backing piece. So that is really the only thing with pinning, is to make sure all that is lined up. And it usually is pretty well. It all just fits together. And so when you pin from the inside going out. Let me go ahead and get these pinned down real quick, and then we'll sew them together. All right. Oh, and just as a side note, I did try to do this with those little clips. Sometimes I use those little clips because they're so handy. And so I did attempt that, and it just didn't work out. I think it's because there are so many layers in this. There's a batting and, then all the fabric. So it was just too much for the little clips to hold, and it didn't work out. So let me show you. So I got this all pinned up, but I used these little clips, and I just put them on the corners like this and tried to sew it, but I didn't get any of my corners. It just walked it all the way around. So, unless maybe you put a whole bunch, it might work. So, but I decided to just go with 4 pins. So here's the pinning, 4 pins. All right, now I'm going to sew this, and you just sew it 1/4 inch with your regular sewing machine and your regular foot. I didn't put my walking foot on or anything like that. So, okay, so here we go. I'm going to just sew this real quick. And you will want to set your stitch length a little longer, because it does, so whenever you use your normal stitch length, it makes the stitches so short and so small. My mother always called those hurricane stitches. So they're just really small, and they're never going to come out, and it makes it so hard. If you have to pick something out with the seam ripper, you can't hardly get a hold of them because they're so little, or even see them. So lengthen your stitch length a little for this project. So you just want to stop about 1/4 inch from the corner, put your needle down, and then turn and go all the way around. And this is not a time that you have to worry about being super precise, because you know you're not crossing seams, making your perfect corner 4 patches or anything like that, like you would if you were making a quilt. This is just a craft, so it's more, you know, you can just kind of relax. Okay, so I got over here. I didn't quite get down this way. All right, so I'm gonna take it off the sewing machine, and so then you just trim the corners and watch about, you know, cutting into your sewing line or getting too close to it, because you don't want to poke a hole in the corners when you flip it. Okay, so there it is. I've got it all sewn and I trimmed the corners. So there's a closer look at what I did. Okay, now I'm going to just take out my pins and we're going to flip it. Let's just turn this little thing right side out and see how cute it is. So I'm just giving it, you see what I'm doing, giving it a good turn. And then I need my turner. Here it is. I use this little kind. Any turner will work. And you just poke your corners. And they're not perfect because, like I said, there's batting in there, so they're kind of a little puffy corner. But when it's sitting on the table, it looks really cute. Okay. And there we go. And then I usually run it along these middle parts as well. Let me turn it around. I go along like here because it has a tendency to look kind of saggy there. So there we go. All right, and then I give it a little tug and like that. Okay, and then I take it to the ironing board and press it. Okay, so here is what we wound up with. This one, I've got my mushrooms all going into the middle, and my bear's heads are going into the middle. So I call this an introvert 4-patch. So I made one earlier. I turned them the other way, and they're all going out, and I call that one an extrovert 4-patch. So I have an introvert and an extrovert. So this is a little set, and it's just really, really cute. Makes a nice little gift. And I have them around, you know, in my sewing area. I've got one by my machine to put my drink on, one by my cutting table, one over by my computer. So they're just really handy and they work out really well. And you can do them with a little ribbon bow, you know, tie 2 together. This is one I made before. It's a little piggy one. It's got a green check back. So they're just really cute. And I think if you wanted to get more, you know, get more into them, you could probably put some quilting on them with your machine or do some more things. But I've always just stopped right there. It's just, it's done and it's adorable. So that's it for today. So it's 5 5-inch squares and 1 piece of batting cut about 4 3/4 squares. And once you make one, you can kind of keep it handy, and that's your pattern. You flip it inside out and you can see what you need to do to make more. And oh, and I also wanted to mention when you cut a strip of fabric, so as far as like if you're shopping and you want to make, let's say you want to make some for your friends to put in with things, one strip is 8 5-inch squares. So you would get, you know, that would make, let's see, would that make 4 if you used that for the 4 patches? So you would need 2 of those to make your 4 patches. So, you know, basically just think about that. You're getting 8 5-inch squares per strip, and from a fat quarter you get 12 5-inch squares. So that you can kind of figure out, you know, how much fabric you need, which isn't really that much. So all right, well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video, whatever you want to call it. But these are, you know, what we did today. Little 4-patch flip and sew coasters and all kinds of ideas. So there you go. Have a good day. Bye.